All right, final race thoughts of the season. Max just immediately punting Oscar. I did laugh. Did I think it was the biggest deal in the world? No. Even Brundle said Oscar left a gap. Like, it wasn't that unhinged of a move. Do I think Max deserved a penalty? Probably, because it was his mistake. He locked up into him and, like, he clearly caused that accident. And, like, it was turn one, so I do think it's a little borderline to give a turn one penalty for that. But I also think, like, by and large, recently in the last couple of years, we've been getting a little free and loose with the turn one incidents. Like, I do think that there should be some leniency there, but we have gotten to the point where you can literally just drive over someone. I'm talking about Lance Stroll and Charles in Brazil 2022, if you'd like to know specifically what I'm not about. But yeah, I thought overall, like, it was totally fine. The only thing that pissed me off is when Max complained about his penalty, which, shock and horror, a driver not thinking they deserved a penalty that they probably did deserve. That's never happened before in the history of Formula One, except for 800 fucking times a season. The way that Martin Brundle and Crofty were like, how could he do such a thing that's so disrespectful to the sport? Dishonor on you, dishonor on their cow. Like, they were literally like 5 minutes away from using that kind of language. It was insane. And I was like, let's go look up how you react when other drivers do that. And this example, I think, really strikes at the heart of what has made the Sky commentary so fucking unbearable this year, which is I've seen people make the point, Max, he's a dangerous driver. He's always hitting people. He's always getting so many penalties, and he can never acknowledge what he's done. He can never take accountability, which I don't think is super true. And also my other response to that would be don't hate the player, hate the game. But at least I can respect that viewpoint. That's not what they're doing. What the commentary is doing is being like, how dare it is so disrespectful for a driver to ever question the officials in this sport. Like, he is a detriment to the entire foundation of Formula One. Like, it's that angle, which is objectively ridiculous because all of the rest of the drivers have a moment where they have bitched about a penalty. I guarantee you that. And you have not brought that energy. In fact, I would like to go make a compilation because I bet you're like, well, it's normal to be frustrated with these. Because it is. Charles getting up to P8 by lap 3. I mean, what can I say? He's a star. He's a star. Next, we kind of entered a phase of the race where everyone was getting randomly punted. It was very sad. Franco. Oscar got a 10-second stop and go penalty for that one. Oh my God. Oscar was also like, when Max hit him, he was like, world champion driving right there. And I was like, I like the sass, but also you did lose to Lando Norris. And that's all I could think about in that moment, unfortunately, which I know is unfair, but he also did lose to Lando Norris. I know I already said Charles was a star, but I'm going to say it again. P3 from the back of the grid. When I said podium yesterday, they thought I was delusional. And by they, I mean myself, literally. But he did. I'm honestly so proud. And also that kind of means that extending the straight on Abu Dhabi worked. So good for them on that. They made the track like slightly less, but it's still just not really that amazing. However, great job to Charles. We are all very, very proud of him. Oh, and there was an Abu Dhabi 2010 mention of Fernando getting stuck behind Vitaly Petrov, which is among my favorite topics to discuss. Both Mercedes did well today. Lewis made his way through the field. There's this tweet that I think is supposed to be a dig at George Russell, and it's like, start George at the front and Lewis at the back, and they'll end together. And I'm like, okay, but like, if George is ending up ahead of Lewis, like, that's not exactly a flex. And also, like, qualifying is like, it's part of it. Like, I'm just saying, like, I want you to be your best narratively, Lewis supporters, because I am low-key on your side. I just don't know that one is the flex that we think it is. I also want to talk about Mercedes more generally because they've done the thing that they've done for the last 3 years, which is kind of get their shit together by the middle end of the year. So everyone's like, ooh, Mercedes resurgence, like they're going to be back next year. But then every year they've just turned up in practice the next year, absolutely garbage. I should have said testing. I don't know why I said practice. I couldn't think of the opening race because I was going to say Australia, and then I was like, no, it's Bahrain, but then we've moved it back to Australia. I'm sorry, just a little peek inside my brain at this point. But the streets are saying Mercedes has gotten their shit together more this year, and I do think they've had more sustained success. They've had more success in general, and purportedly they understand their car better, but like, I'm going to reserve judgment till the beginning of next year because I'm not going to get fooled again. Congrats to McLaren. I can't stop thinking about this motorsport.com graphic that I quote tweeted at some point during this year. It was one of those like little game things. Which button would you press? And here were the options. Blue, Vettel returns to F1, but Bottas doesn't get a seat. If you think I care about Valtteri Bottas in that situation, I'm so sorry to that man. But red, Lewis wins a championship with Ferrari, but never a race with them. Green, McLaren wins the constructors title 5 years in a row, but never a drivers championship. Yellow, Yuki wins a race, but Max retires from F1. And I quote tweeted it with a picture of a baby pressing a green button. And I said, I'm so sorry to Sebastian Vettel, but it would be so funny. And is that coming true? Because the first year, I'm going to go live and watch all the post-race coverage. Our queen, Nico Rosberg, is in the building, so I'm very excited. But also, make sure you follow me on YouTube and all other social medias, M Formula, whatever, on everything, because TikTok might be going away, and I'm scared. Because I've been kind of pretending that isn't going to happen. I've just put it out of mind for the last year, but now it's seeming like it might happen, and I don't know. I'm not counting on the Supreme Court to save me on literally anything, so follow me on YouTube.